I am the best. Not because I was born perfect, not because everything came easy, but because I chose to believe what God says about me more than what the world whispers against me. I am the best because the one who created me never made a mistake. When He formed me in my mother's womb, He looked at me and said, "This is good. I am not an accident. I am not a coincidence. I am a divine design, crafted with intention, equipped with purpose, and filled with potential that cannot be measured by human standards." There was a time when I doubted myself, when I compared my journey to others and felt small. I looked at people who seemed stronger, smarter, or more successful, and I thought I could never reach that level. But one day I realized that comparison is the enemy of confidence. The moment I stopped measuring my worth by someone else's success, I started to see who I truly was. I am not called to be a copy. I am called to be a masterpiece. When I began to see myself through the eyes of faith, I discovered that greatness was not something I needed to chase. It was already inside me, waiting to be activated. I am the best because I have learned that power is not in talent alone, but in mindset. The words I speak over myself shape my destiny. When I say, "I can," doors begin to open. When I say, "I will," strength rises from within. When I say, "I am the best," it is not arrogance, it is agreement with truth. I speak life over my future. I speak confidence over my calling. I declare victory even before I see it, because faith speaks before sight appears. My confession creates my condition, and my words are building my tomorrow. Every challenge that stands before me is not meant to break me but to build me. I have learned to thank God for the mountains because they strengthen my legs for greater heights. I have learned to bless Him for the storms because they cleanse the path to my destiny. I am the best not because I avoid battles, but because I conquer them. I do not run from fear, I face it. I do not hide from pain, I learn from it. Each scar on my journey is proof that I did not quit, that I kept walking even when the road was hard. The fire that was meant to destroy me refined me into gold. I am the best because I know who fights for me. I do not depend on human approval, for people may celebrate me today and criticize me tomorrow. My confidence does not come from applause, it comes from assurance. The hand that lifted me out of the pit is the same hand that will carry me through every valley and mountain. I am not alone, and because I am not alone, I cannot be defeated. I walk with a quiet boldness, knowing that what is inside me is greater than what stands against me. I am the best because I am chosen to make a difference. I am not living for titles or trophies. I am living for transformation. Wherever I go, I bring light. When I speak, I bring hope. When I act, I bring change. My purpose is not to impress people, but to impact lives. I rise each morning knowing that I am part of something bigger than myself. I am the best not because I am better than others, but because I give my best to everything I do, every day, with every breath. I am the best because I believe it, I speak it, I live it. I am not waiting for others to validate me. I have already been validated by the one who called me. I am not competing with anyone. I am completing the assignment given to me. I am the best version of myself today, and tomorrow I will be even better because I am growing, learning, and walking in grace. I am the best, not because of who I am, but because of who lives in me. I am the best not because life is easy, but because I have learned to rise when life gets hard. I am the best not because I have reached the finish line, but because I never stop running the race of faith. I am the best because I was created for greatness, destined for victory, and designed for glory. I am the best, and nothing can change that truth. Believing in your divine identity and purpose is the foundation of becoming your best self. It begins with understanding that you are not here by chance or accident. You were created with intention, shaped by divine hands, and placed in this world for a reason greater than you can imagine. Every detail about you, your voice, your thoughts, your dreams, your struggles, carries a purpose that contributes to your destiny. When you start to believe in your divine identity, you stop trying to fit into places you were never meant to belong. You realize that your value doesn't come from what others say about you, but from what the Creator has already spoken in over your life. You begin to see yourself not as ordinary, but as extraordinary, chosen and equipped for greatness. Many people live their whole lives searching for validation from others, hoping to find their worth in opinions, achievements, or approvals. But true confidence begins when you realize that you were already approved by the one who made you. You don't need to earn love when you were born out of it. You don't need to chase acceptance when you were created in it. Believing in your divine identity sets you free from comparison and insecurity because you understand that your path is unique. You are not competing with anyone else's purpose. You are fulfilling your own. The moment you accept that you were created on purpose, for a purpose, you start to walk with a quiet confidence that no one can take away from you. Your identity is not defined by your past, your failures, or your weaknesses. You might have gone through seasons of pain, loss, or disappointment, but none of those things determine who you are. They are part of your journey, not the definition of your soul. Every setback is a setup for growth, every mistake a lesson that strengthens your wisdom, and every wound an opening for grace to enter. When you believe in your divine identity, you start to see challenges not as barriers, but as blessings in disguise. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Use me." You allow every experience, good or bad, to mold you into the person you were meant to become. Believing in your divine purpose also means trusting that your life carries meaning beyond what you can see right now. Even when the road is unclear, you walk by faith, not by sight. You may not have all the answers, but you have assurance that you are being led in the right direction. There are moments when doubt will whisper, "You are not enough," but faith will remind you, "You are chosen." Your purpose is not something you create on your own. It's something you discover as you align your heart with divine will. It unfolds gradually like the rising sun, revealing more light with every step you take in faith. When you truly believe in your divine identity, you stop apologizing for being who you are. You stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. You stop pretending to be less than what you were created to be. You start walking in confidence, not arrogance, because you know your strength comes from a higher source. You embrace your gifts and talents without fear, using them to serve others and glorify the one who gave them to you. You understand that you are not here to simply exist. You are here to make a difference. You are not here to blend in. You are here to stand out and shine. You were created with a calling that no one else can fulfill exactly the way you can. Believing in your divine identity and purpose transforms the way you think, speak, and live. It gives you clarity in confusion, peace in chaos, and courage in fear. It turns insecurity into confidence and hopelessness into strength. Once you realize who you truly are and whose you truly are, you begin to live with power, purpose, and unshakable faith that nothing in this world can take away. Speaking victory and confidence over your life is not just about words, it's about creating the atmosphere that shapes your destiny. Every word you speak carries power, power to build or to break, to lift or to limit, to move you forward or to hold you back. What you declare over yourself becomes the reality you walk in. When you speak faith, you attract strength. When you speak fear, you invite defeat. The language of your mouth determines the direction of your life. That's why it's so important to fill your heart and tongue with words of victory. When you say, I can, your spirit begins to rise. When you say, I will, your mind starts to align. When you say, I am the best, you are not boasting. You are activating the truth of who you were created to be. Many people fail not because they lack ability, but because they have spoken failure into their future. They talk about what they can't do, how hard life is, how nothing works out, and they wonder why things never change. The truth is, your mouth can either be your weapon or your weakness. You can either speak yourself into defeat or declare yourself into victory. The key to confidence is not waiting for circumstances to change before you speak differently. It's speaking differently until circumstances change. Your words are seeds, and your life is the harvest of what you have spoken repeatedly. That's why you must guard your tongue, because it has the power to give life or to bring destruction. When you wake up each day, speak strength over yourself. Say, I am blessed, I am favored, I am strong, I am wise, I am capable, I am walking in purpose. Don't let negativity take root in your mind or come out of your mouth. Even when you don't feel confident, declare confidence. Even when things don't look victorious, declare victory. Faith does not deny reality, it declares a greater truth above it. When your situation says you are weak, speak that you are strong. When your surroundings look dry, declare that rivers are forming in the desert. The world around you will eventually mirror the world you speak within you. Confidence is not silence, it is sound. You can't stay quiet about what you believe and expect transformation. When you open your mouth and declare who you are and what you are capable of, you give your spirit permission to rise. Speaking victory is a daily discipline, not a one-time statement. It is a continual choice to align your words with faith instead of fear. The more you speak confidence, the more your mindset changes. The more your mindset changes, the more your actions follow. What you confess consistently becomes your new reality. There will be days when everything seems against you, when your feelings tell you to give up. That's when your words matter the most. Speaking victory is not about pretending life is perfect. It's about choosing hope in the middle of imperfection. When you declare positive words in a negative environment, you create spiritual energy that breaks limitations. You start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You start to move forward when others stand still. Confidence is not found in waiting for perfect conditions. It's born in speaking boldly despite imperfection. When you speak victory, you change the way you see yourself. You no longer speak as a victim. You speak as a victor. You stop saying, "I can't," and start saying, "I will find a way." You stop saying, "It's impossible," and start saying, "With faith, all things are possible." These declarations shift your emotions, your energy, and your environment. Your confidence begins to grow not from external applause, but from internal agreement with divine truth. The words you speak daily become your shield against fear, your sword against doubt, and your bridge towards success. Your mouth holds the key to your mindset, and your mindset shapes your entire destiny. Conquering challenges through faith and perseverance is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Every person encounters obstacles, but not everyone faces them with courage. Challenges are not signs of weakness. They are opportunities for growth. They are divine classrooms where strength, wisdom, and resilience are developed. When you face difficulties with faith, you begin to see beyond the problem and focus on the promise. You stop asking why this is happening and start asking what you can learn from it. Each trial you go through is a test of your belief, a chance to prove that your faith is stronger than your fear. When you stand firm in the face of adversity, you are not just surviving, you are transforming into the person you were destined to become. Faith does not remove the mountain, but it gives you the strength to climb it. Perseverance is what keeps you moving when everything in you wants to stop. It is easy to believe when life is smooth, but true faith is revealed when the road is rough. When doors close and prayers seem unanswered, faith whispers, "Keep going." When people doubt you or walk away, perseverance reminds you, you are not finished yet. Together, faith and perseverance become a powerful force that no challenge can overcome. They turn pain into power, pressure into purpose, and obstacles into stepping stones toward greatness. Every challenge has a voice, and that voice often tries to convince you that you are not enough. It tells you to quit, to settle, to stop believing. But when faith rises inside you, that voice loses its power. Faith declares that every setback is temporary, that every delay has a purpose, that every difficulty is shaping something greater inside you. Perseverance then takes that belief and puts it into action. It keeps you walking even when the path is dark. It keeps you fighting even when the battle feels endless. You don't need to see the entire road. You just need to take the next step with trust. There are moments when life will test your strength and question your patience. You may face rejection, loss, or failure. You may feel like everything is falling apart. But in those moments, faith is the anchor that keeps your heart steady. It reminds you that the storm will not last forever. Perseverance is the sail that pushes you forward while the wind is against you. It keeps your vision alive when everything around you says to give up. The combination of faith and perseverance doesn't just help you endure, it helps you emerge stronger than before. Every challenge that tried to destroy you becomes part of your story of victory. Conquering challenges through faith is not about denying the pain, it's about refusing to be defined by it. It's about standing tall when life tries to knock you down and saying, I will not be moved. When you trust that there is purpose in every difficulty, you turn your focus from the size of your problem to the greatness of your destiny. You begin to see that even in the hardest moments, something beautiful is being built within you. Perseverance is not just continuing, it is continuing with belief. It is saying, even if I have to crawl, I will not stop moving. It is holding on to hope when nothing makes sense. Those who conquer challenges through faith and perseverance understand that victory is not always immediate. Sometimes it is hidden in the process, in the lessons, in the tears that fall when no one is watching. But each moment of endurance adds another layer of strength, another measure of courage. You may not realize it while you are in the struggle, but every time you refuse to give up, something powerful is being formed inside you. Faith gives you the vision to see beyond the pain, and perseverance gives you the will to walk through it until the promise becomes reality, walking with assurance, not dependence on human approval, is one of the greatest freedoms a person can experience. When your confidence is rooted in divine truth rather than people's opinions, you rise above insecurity and inconsistency. Approval from others is fragile. It changes with moods, seasons, and misunderstandings. One day they may applaud you, the next day they may criticize you. If your sense of worth is built on what people think, you will always live in emotional instability. But when your assurance comes from knowing who you are and whose you are, you walk in a peace that cannot be shaken. You understand that your value is not up for debate and your purpose is not determined by human validation. The need for approval is one of the greatest barriers to living authentically. Many people spend their entire lives trying to please others, adjusting themselves to fit expectations, and hiding their true identity for fear of rejection. But no matter how much you try, you can never satisfy everyone. There will always be someone who misunderstands your intentions or criticizes your choices. That is why you must shift your focus from pleasing people to fulfilling your calling. When you walk with assurance, you no longer live for applause, you live for alignment. You measure your actions not by popularity, but by purpose. You do what is right, not what is accepted. You speak truth even when it's not applauded. Assurance is quiet confidence, not arrogance, not pride, but inner strength that comes from conviction. It means knowing that you are walking in the right direction, even when others don't see it yet. It is the ability to smile when misunderstood, to stand firm when challenged, and to keep moving forward when support is scarce. People who walk with assurance carry an unshakable calmness because they have already settled the question of who they are. They don't need others to remind them of their worth. They already know it deep within. This kind of assurance cannot be taken away by criticism, rejection, or silence. When you stop depending on human approval, you begin to live with greater authenticity. You speak your truth without fear. You follow your purpose with boldness. You stop trying to fit in and start standing out. The approval of people may feel good for a moment, but it will never sustain your soul. Only divine approval gives lasting peace. When you understand that you have already been chosen, loved, and equipped, you stop chasing validation and start walking in vision. You realize that your worth is not based on performance, but on identity. This understanding brings stability to your heart and focus to your mind. Walking with assurance also means trusting that even if people walk away, your destiny remains intact. Not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Some will doubt you because they cannot see what you see. Some will oppose you because your confidence exposes their insecurity. But you don't need their agreement to keep progressing. Assurance teaches you to stay grounded when others don't believe in you. It helps you to bless those who criticize you and stay humble when praised. It gives you the strength to keep building even when no one is watching, knowing that your reward does not come from human hands. When you walk with assurance, you become a light to others who are struggling with self-doubt. Your confidence inspires them to stop seeking validation and start embracing their worth. People see something unshakable in you, a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, a strength that doesn't fade under pressure. This kind of assurance comes only from knowing that you are fulfilling a purpose bigger than yourself. It allows you to stay consistent, grounded, and true to your calling, regardless of how others respond. When your assurance is anchored in divine truth, no rejection can break you, no criticism can distract you, and no loss can stop you from walking boldly toward your destiny. Living to impact, not to impress, is the mindset of those who walk in true greatness. It is the difference between chasing recognition and fulfilling purpose. Many people spend their lives trying to be noticed, trying to build an image that pleases others, but an image fades while impact remains. Impressing others feeds the ego, but impacting others feeds the soul. When your focus shifts from being seen to being significant, everything about your life changes. You stop performing for attention and start living with intention. You understand that success is not about how many people know your name, but how many lives are changed because you existed. To live a life of impact means to serve beyond yourself. It means using your gifts, your voice, and your experiences to lift others higher. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every moment of compassion creates a ripple that travels farther than you can imagine. You don't need a stage to make a difference. Your life itself is the message. The smallest gesture done with love has more power than the grandest show done for attention. Impact is not about impressing the crowd, it's about touching a heart. It's not about being the loudest, it's about being the most genuine. When your heart beats for service rather than applause, your influence becomes timeless. Those who live to impress often chase temporary things, approval, fame, or validation. But those who live to impact chase eternal things, purpose, growth, and transformation. When you live to impress, you are constantly under pressure to perform. You measure your worth by how others react. But when you live to impact, you move with peace because you are not trying to prove anything. You are walking in authenticity, doing what you were created to do without seeking permission. The desire to impress fades when you understand that your real value lies in how much good you bring into the world. Living to impact requires humility. It means putting people before pride, purpose before popularity, and character before comfort. It means knowing that your role is not to outshine others, but to help them find their own light. True greatness is never about being the only one who succeeds. It's about creating an environment where others can rise too. The most powerful lives are not those filled with applause, but those filled with influence that outlives them. When your motive is to impact, you stop competing and start contributing. You stop seeking validation and start offering value. Every day presents an opportunity to impact someone. It could be a word that uplifts a broken spirit, an act that restores someone's hope, or a decision that inspires others to keep going. When you choose to live for impact, your perspective changes. You start seeing people differently, not as obstacles or competitors, but as souls with their own struggles and dreams. You start to give without expecting, to love without demanding, and to lead without controlling. Your presence becomes healing, your actions become a testimony, and your life becomes a beacon of hope. Living to impact, not to impress, also brings fulfillment that fame can never give. The joy of making a difference lasts longer than any applause. The gratitude in someone's eyes speaks louder than any praise. When your heart is anchored in purpose, you find meaning in every moment, even in the unseen ones. You realize that legacy is not what you leave for people, but what you leave in people. The impressions you make may fade, but the lives you touch will echo beyond your lifetime. Impact is eternal because it's rooted in love, and love never fails. Those who live to impact understand that greatness is not measured by recognition, but by the quiet power of a life that changes other lives forever.